Torah. Welcome to our Amud Yomi Shiur. Welcome to our Torah Anytime and YouTube viewers. We are learning Maseches Kiddushin Daf Ayin Amud Aleph today, learning about Yuchsin, about the kind of woman you should marry. Regarding the Yichus. Omar Rabba Bar Bar Chana. That's about more than 10 lines from the top of the page. Omar Rabba Bar Bar Chana. Line starts with the word Bar Bar Chana. Rabba Bar Bar Chana said, any person who marries a woman, by the way, this year's Ilu Nishmas of Menachem Ben Akiva. A person who marries a woman who's not Ogenes Loi, Rashi says there are different levels of Eino Ogenes. A woman is not appropriate for him. What does that mean? There could be different levels here. The first level, according to Rashi, is a woman who is not good enough for him. It's the yichus. In other words, the yichus that she has is not good enough relative to him. The yichus is not good enough. He could have taken a woman from a better home, something like that. So it's mashma at this point. Mala olav kosuv. Then it's considered as if it's as if he plowed the entire world and he planted inside salt. What does it mean? So the Maharsha explains, a woman is like the karka, a person's home is like his field, a person's wife is like the field, it says in Shabbos, Kufid Zayin, Kufid Ches, and over there, right, and when you plow it, usually you have seed, which is good seed, children. Here, what are you doing? You plow, and what you put inside is only salt. What's salt? Salt ruins, destroys the earth. So too, all you're going to have are bad children. You only marry that woman for the wrong reason. In other words, the fact she's not miyucheses doesn't mean she's a good woman, not a daughter of Rosh Hashiva. She's not a spiritually inclined person. She's not frum enough, not good enough. You marry for the beauty, for the money, and your children you're going to have are going to be like salt. You're not going to have good fruit from that marriage. Shenemar, as it says, when we spoke about the people from that dubious places, they're called tel melach and tel charsha. Melach and charsha, salt and plowing. The connection is you plow and then you salt. That's not good. Now, Omar Rav Ada Omar Rav. Isha leshum momoin. Oh, now we're talking about Now we're talking about somebody who's worse. It's a person who marries a woman for money only. And now what's so bad with marrying someone for money? Okay, he married someone for money. As we're going to see, it's not good. Why? Because he's marrying a woman, and now I'm quoting Shulchan Aruch, this is Aloch in Shulchan Aruch. When you marry a woman who has doubtful yichus, there's a chashash of mamzerus. Oh, he's a kohen and she's a maybe halolo. That's how it's defined in halacha. It's not completely psula. It's a woman who has questionable yichus halachically. I don't mean stam a woman is not good enough. Here we're talking about a woman that is possibly really not good for you halachically, and you only marry her for the money for three reasons: kesef, money, and geld. What happens with this? Having a lobonim shein and mulgonim. He's going to have children who are not good. He's going to have children who won't follow the way of Hashem. Sheneemar, it says in the pasuk, "Ba'Hashem bagodu kibonim zorim yolodu." They betrayed Hashem, and therefore they have children who are estranged. They go astray from Hashem. B'Shem Atoima, one would say, Momen Polat. Okay, at least the money is going to have. He's going to have bad kids, but Lamaisa maybe at least he's going to have the money. He married her for the money. No, so at least the money is going to have. So we say no. Talmud loymar ata yoichlem chodesh es chelkehem. Ata yoichel chodesh es chelkehem, which means the chelek, the part of money you want to have from her, the chodesh, the month will eat up. What does it mean the month will eat it up? We're going to see what that means soon. But basically, even the money will not stay with them. Chodesh means a month. If within 1 month, all the money is going to go. You married the woman for money, the money is going to go away. Soon we're going to explain an exception to the rule. The Shema Toima, maybe you're going to say chelkoi veloi chelka. When a man marries a woman, usually some money of hers belongs to him almost completely. Nichsetzon barzel, yeah. Nichsetzon barzel means that the money that she brought from her rich daddy, from her rich home, from her riches, is completely his as long as they're married, but he has to give back to her, yeah, the money as it was originally the same amount. He's responsible to give her the original amount back when they get divorced or when he dies. That's called his money. And her money is nichse milug. Her money means money that the body is hers, yeah, the body is hers, and the fruit, the benefit is his. So in any event, maybe you're going to say only his money will somehow get lost, but not her money. Maybe the money that belongs to her will stay, and you'll still be able to benefit from her own money that she keeps. Talmud milug. Talmud loimer chelkehem, both parts, chelkehem, their parts, both his part and her part will completely get lost. The Shema terminal is man merube. Maybe that's going to happen after a long time. Only 20 years down the line, down the marriage, they have bad kids. At least they have money. Okay, they can go to therapy. I don't know. They can go on vacation, enjoy themselves. No, Talmud loimar chodesh. Chodesh, a month. My mashma. What does it mean? What does month have to do with anything? Omar Nachman bar Yitzchak, chodesh nichnas, v'chodesh yotzo, u'memoinam ovad. Wow. Says Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, a month comes in and a month comes out and the money is lost. Maharsha explains that it's not that within 1 month they're not going to have any money. It means any money they made at the beginning of the month, they'll spend at the end of the month. They'll never gain anything. They'll just about break even. Yeah, they'll live, like from month to month, hand to mouth, exactly, without saving anything, without financial security. So listen to this, Rabbi Isai. I checked the Shulchan Aruch yesterday. Shulchan Aruch says that woman who is defined as bad marriage because he married her for the money, that is only true, right? And that's only true when he married her for the Isha Psula Loy, says Rashi. When he married a woman of dubious, questionable yichus, which is really a problem. The base Shmuel, one of the Noise Kelim, says that if you marry a woman for money, and she's a good woman otherwise, your reason is money. You marry her for the money, but Lemaisa, she is a good woman otherwise from good yichus, no halachic questions, that's okay. That's fine. I mean, I don't know what kind of marriage it's going to be, how romantic they'll be, how loving they'll be. That's a different question. But Lemaisa, from here, you see the diuk that the only problem of marrying for money is because there's another issue of psul, yeah, of her being a questionable. The Chor works the other way around. If a woman marries a man for the money and he may be a mamzer, that's a question, that's bad. But if you marry for the money and otherwise, it's okay. It's okay, except for. Exactly. I like what you say. Right. It doesn't go together always. Sometimes, not always. Now we're coming even stronger. Yeah, it gets stronger and stronger. Again, we're talking about a woman who is potentially possible to him. The explanation of the Maharsha here is it's a woman who's likely a mamzeres or a halal and is a kohen, but Beis Din can't prove it. Yeah, it's highly likely that there's some question here, but it's not evident enough for Beis Din to be mafresh. You have to know, in the times when Beis Din really had power, Beis Din, if the kohen married a grusha or a mamzer bas Yisrael, Beis Din would make sure to separate them. Beis Din would force them to get divorced. Yeah. Now this man married a woman. It's questionable enough, but Beis Din can't prove it. But him and her, they know that there are questions here. So what do? Who takes care of people that Beis Din cannot take care of? Kadosh Baruch Hu. So who takes care of them? Eliyahu koiftoi, v'Kadosh Baruch Hu roitzoi. Wow. Eliyahu hanovi koiftoi. What does it mean koiftoi? Eliyahu hanovi. What do you do to a person who breaks the law, who breaks the halacha? Normally, Malchus. The default punishment is Malchus. They tie his hands on a pillar in Beis Din on like a pole, and they tie his hands, and then they lash him on the back, right? So now, Who are the ones who are going to take care of him? Eliyahu Hanavi will tie his hands. And the Kadosh Baruch Hu himself will lash him. The Maharsha asks, what's going on here? Eliyahu ties the Kadosh Baruch Hu roitzoy. What's going on? Says, excuse me. Ah, very good. Eliyahu Hanavi is the one who's a kanoi. Who's Eliyahu Hanavi? Pinchas. Eliyahu Hanavi, aka Pinchas, is the one who was very concerned with the what? With tznius, right? When Zimri ben Salu had relations with the Goite, Pinchas was the one who took care of things, right? Took care of business. So Eliyahu Hanavi, who's really Pinchas, he's going to tie him, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu will punish him. What does it mean the Kadosh Baruch Hu will lash him? Says the Maharsha, Kadosh Baruch Hu will punish him in all kinds of ways. Ill, whatever, disease, sickness, all kinds of things like that, poverty. Hashem will punish the person who marries a spouse of questionable halachic origin. Vetana, it says in the Brisa, Al Kulam Eliyahu Kosev, on those kinds of people, Eliyahu writes, V'Kadosh Baruch Hu Choisem, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu signs, Kivyochel Hashem signs the letter, Oy loy lepoisel eszaroy. Woe to him! How bad it is for him who disqualifies his zera ulepoigemes mishpachtoi. Not just his child. He's basically tarnishing the entire family. By marrying a woman is not appropriate for him because she's really of a questionable source, origin. Now, continues the Gemara. Now we don't have to read again Eliyahu Kosev HaKadosh Baruch Hu roitzoy because that was said again. The Gon erases it again. The Kol HaPoisel. Oh, that's a famous line here. We're going to come up with a very well-known line. The Kol HaPoisel Posul. Let's say there's a person who always hassles other people. He keeps telling you, this family, you know them? Oh, they're Mamzerim. Oh, those, you think they're such big people? They're Chalolim. You know them? Ah, they're Charurim. Oh, you know them? They are Nisinim. He keeps bad-mouthing everybody else. What does it mean? Posul. He himself is a posul. A person who always talks bad about others, that is to say that he himself has an issue, and that's why he's trying to, it's called project on other people his own problem. Yeah, Rashi explains he never says nice things about people. You know such people? Always negative. They're always bad and say negative things about everybody else. They never have a nice word to say to anybody. Such people are most probably of a mamzer origin. Shmuel, b'mumoy poisel. That's what I meant by the famous line. It's a famous line, kol hapoisel, b'mumoy poisel, which means the type of psul that the person always blames other people for, that very same type of psul is what? The very same type of psul is really his own psul. If he says about other people that they're mamzerim, he's a mamzer. If he says that they were not properly converted, so he wasn't properly converted. If he says that they're avodim, sometimes people in the past, we saw that before in the Masechta, people would say about someone, you're an eved. Oh, it means you're an eved. I forgot to tell you something before. That's what I meant before to tell you. In the story of the guy who marries a woman for the wrong reason, and all the money goes away, it's a machlokas really. According to Shulchan Aruch's explanation, based on Rishonim, we're talking here about a real halachic problem. We're talking about a person who's what? Married a woman who may be halachically problematic, and that's really bad. And that's what the Maharsha says, Eliyahu lashes him, v'chulei. Now, according to Rashi, when you married the woman for money only, it's not that there's a real questionable halachic problem here. Why? Because Rashi says about his money and her money that she doesn't deserve punishment. She doesn't deserve punishment because she wants to marry somebody of a greater ichus. Now, if you spoke about mamzer, then both sides, it's an affair for both sides, right? Here, Rashi probably meant that it's just somebody who's not of a higher ichus. So it's a machlokas. Let's continue. Now we're going to see a story. We're going to start a rather long story here. I don't even know if we'll finish the entire story today. Ahu Gavra. Unfortunately, you know that there's always an issue, always a problem of people who are unfortunately mechutzaf and insolent towards Talmidei Chachomim. It's very, very sad when I hear people today talking against Rabbanim. It's a very, very severe thing. You should know before we start the story, I just want to preface it by saying that sometimes you hear in the media, in the internet, in the newspapers, and whatever, that certain rabbi said something, and you think that what he said doesn't make sense, but it's not the right thing to say. Please don't open your mouth. Do yourself a favor. It's a very, very severe thing, and you can ask, why did the rabbi say it? Let's try and understand it. But don't say, oh, the rabbi said so and so, and it's stupid and it's idiotic. It's a very, very severe thing. It's really, really bad. It's considered as a picorsis. You may lose your chelik olam haba. It's not a funny thing to do. Let's see the following story. Ahu Gavra de Minardo. There was a man who came from the city of Nardo. The Al Lebei Mitbachaya bePumpadisa. That's how our story begins. A man of Nardo came to a butcher's shop, to buy meat in Pumpadisa. He was from Nardo, one city where there was a yeshiva. There was a city in Bavel with a lot of Jewish population, and he came from Nardo to Pumpadisa. Pumpadisa was another, city with Jewish people there, Jewish population with the yeshiva. They're both in Bavel, true. And he, as a visitor, as a tourist, he came to the butcher shop. Omar Lehu, what? Omar Lehu, he told them, to the butchers, Habuli Bisra, bring me meat, give me meat. Omar Lehu, they told him, Netar, wait, ad the Shakil l'shame de Rav Yehuda bar Yecheskel, until we give the meat to Rav Yehuda to the Shamesh, to the servant of Rav Yehuda bar Yecheskel. And by the way, Rashi says that he was already there. Not only the Shamesh of the big rabbi Rav Yehuda bar Yecheskel was there, he was also first in line. Yeah, Rashi says she'oimed kan litol v'neitiv lecha. In other words, wait in the queue, sir. Wait in line patiently, especially since the person ahead of you is what? He's a shamish, he's the messenger of a choshev rabbi, of a choshev rav, Rav Yehuda bar Yecheskel. Omar, so how did he react, you think? Man Yehuda bar Shviskal, the kodimli, the shokel min kamoi. Who is this Yehuda? He didn't say rabbi. Who is Yehuda ben Shviskal? Instead of Yehuda ben Yecheskel, Rav Yehuda ben Yecheskel, he said Rav Yehuda bar Shviskal. What Shviskal? Rashi says that Shvisky, not whiskey, Shvisky are like steaks, like roasted meat. So he said, who is this person who's such a gluttonous person, who's such a, foodie kind of guy that he takes before me? I guess he was a rich guy. I bet he was rich. Without knowing, I bet he was rich. I just know these people. Basically, who is he to take before me? Why should that so-called Rabbi Shvitzkar, why should he take before me? That was great chutzpah. Oslo, they went. Omule, Rav Yehuda, Shamte, they went. People were there in the store. They told Rav Yehuda bar Yecheskel. From now on, by the way, we'll refer to Rav Yehuda bar Yecheskel as simply Rav Yehuda. That's going to be a long story. So now they told Rav Yehuda, Shamte, what Shamte? Put him in cherem. What is the avera? What is the classical punishment for a person who does not respect Rabbanim? Cherem. You have to excommunicate him, ostracize him. Amru, so Shamte. And then instead of Shamte, there was a different alternative trick that Rav Yehuda was playing. Amru, they said, Ragil dekari inshi avdi. And then they told Rav Yehuda another piece of information, that this man who was so insolent, so mechutzaf, he always calls people avodim. He goes to people down the street and say, this guy you think is a good guy, he's an Eved Knaini. You see that guy over there? He's an Eved Knaini. Achrizalei. So now, Rav Yehuda, instead of putting him in cherem, he announced that the Avdahu, he publicly made an announcement regarding this man that he's an Eved. He killed two birds in one stone. He gets punished because he's demoted to be an Eved. And secondly, or mainly, it's true. Because why did Rav Yehuda say that he's an Eved? If you call everybody else Eved, must be you're an Eved too. I want to stop a second. And tell you now something else I wanted to tell you before. I'm a little bit confused this morning. Basically, the question is, before we continue, do you really have to be concerned? That's the question in Shidduchim, right? You suggested a family for your son, for your daughter. Do you have to be concerned that they're mamzerim? And how far? How far? Now, I'm not now teaching all the halachas regarding that, but generally speaking, the Shulchan Aruch says that if a family is muchzak bekashrus, we assume that they're kosher. If a family is assumed to be kosher, they're part of the community. We assume that they're kosher family, except for, listen to this, except for a family, and this has to do exactly with what we're learning now, a family that always fights with everybody. Not only a family that calls everyone else mamzer. If a family, their family members tend to always put down other people for bad yichus, claiming that they're I don't know, questionable converts or things like that. Even if not for that, even for the mere fact that they always fight with people, the Bali Machloikes, it makes sense they're from Mamzerus. Wow. If you see a family that don't get along with anybody, they fight with the neighbors, and they fight with the school, and they fight with the rabbi, and they fight with the people, and they fight with people in Shiur. So that means that they are possibly people of, questionable origin. Stay away from them. Let's go back to our story. So this guy, our bad guy from the story, what about him? He used to call people avodim. So Rav Yehuda bar Cheskel said, okay, it's time to announce and declare that he himself is an Eved. So you know what the man did? From now on, we'll call him the Mechutza. Yes, and now we have two people in the show. As of now, two protagonists. We have Rav Yehuda bar Cheskel, and we have the Mechutza. Ozalahu, that Mechutza went, Azmenei Ledina Lekamid Rav Nachman. Wow. He summoned him, invited him, summoned him, Ledin, to come to a din Torah in front of Rav Nachman, meaning he is suing Rav Yehuda, right? He's suing Rav Yehuda. Hey, you besmirched me. Why are you calling me an Eved? It's not right that there's a rabbi is calling me an Eved. I'm taking the rabbi to Beis Din. Wow. Okay. Which Beis Din of Rav Nachman? Rav Nachman himself was in his city. Rav Nachman was in Nardo, right? Rav Nachman was in Nardo, and that guy originally was from Nardo, and he invited Rav Yehuda to his hometown, to his home field where Rav Nachman is a dayan, right? To come to Beis Din, and he wants to take him and sue him and take him to court by Rav Nachman. Why did you call me an Eved? Okay, so now Rav Yehuda didn't know what to do. Now, you have to know that when they invite someone to Beis Din, there are two issues. Meaning, when they invite a Talmid Chacham to Beis Din, and I saw that yesterday in Shulchan Aruch, there are two reasons why Talmid Chacham can, of course, nobody is above the law, also Talmid Chachamim, obviously. But when you have a Talmid Chacham who's invited to Beis Din, and he knows that the dayanim over there are below his level, so that's ridiculous, it's a joke. That guy is a tremendous Talmid Chacham. He's 50 years old. He knows the Kol Choshen Mishpat Baal Peh. And he's invited to Beis Din of 3 newbies, babies in Koilel of 25. They're just about no dayanus. So then he doesn't have to go to the din. That's halacha. What should you do? Get him to a higher Beis Din, right? A Talmid Chacham is not supposed to go below. Second issue we have here. That is, if a Talmid Chacham is invited, is summoned to Beis Din by someone who's a regular Amoritz. Amoritz and a Talmid Chacham, yeah. Why should I Bichlal go to Beis Din? Maybe the Amoritz has a right claim. Maybe it's true. Maybe the Talmid Chacham was wrong. That's possible. But the Talmid Chacham doesn't have to go to Beis Din. They call the Beis Din sends people to his house because it's degrading for him, right? It's slighting for him. It's degrading for him to go to Beis Din. It's demeaning for him to start going to Beis Din and face this Grobe Amoritz. So you send messengers to his house, right? And they write down his tinus, right? And then they take them to Beis Din. Okay? They do that to women also. A woman is a choshev, a woman, they don't take her to Beis Din. They go to her house, they listen to what she has to say, and the recordings they bring to Beis Din. So he was invited by this terrible Amoritz Mechutzef to Din Torah by Rav Nachman. Aiti Pitka, so he didn't know what to do. What did he do, Rav Yehuda? Rav Yehuda now came. Aiti Pitka the Hazmana. He took the petek, the note, the letter with the Hazmana, with an invitation to Beis Din, very nice invitation. Ozal Rav Yehuda lekamei de Ravuna, and Rav Yehuda, the one invited to Din, the one summoned to Beis Din, he went to Rav Huna to consult, to know what to do. Omerle, Rav Yehuda, the one invited to Din, asked Rav Huna, Ezil or lo Ezil? Shall I go or shouldn't I go? Shall I or shall I not go? As I explained to you, there are questions here. This guy is the Mechutza from Amoritz. Why should I bow down to him? And secondly, is Rav Nachman greater than me? If Rav Nachman is not greater than me, if I don't know, I can't say for myself. But what do you say? Shall I go to Rav Nachman? Because if Rav Nachman is below me, then I don't have to go. Omar, late. Now Rav Huna gave him that piece of advice. He said as follows: Meizal lomi bailach lemeizal. You don't have to go to Beis Din Ikra Din, by the letter of the law. You don't have to go to Beis Din by Rav Nachman, who's over there in Aldo. Mishum de Gavre Rabat, because you are a great person. And Rashi explains. Rashi says clearly, you are greater than Rav Nachman, and therefore, and also is in a different city. You don't have to schlep to another city to be judged by a person who is of a lower standard, lower caliber than you. Ella, but at the end of the day, I'm advising you yes to go. Why? Mishum yiko de be'nesia kumzil. Oh, because of the covet of the household of the Nasi, of the, so to speak, president, you have to get up and go. Meaning, Rav Nachman, as we know, was a son-in-law of the Resh Galusa. Rav Nachman's wife was Yalta. She's going to appear later in the story, a very strong-minded woman. Yalta was the daughter of the Resh Galuta, exilarch, the head of the Jews in Bavel. And because of showing respect to the system, of, of our people in Bavel, if you, a Choshev Talmid Chochem, refuse to go to Rav Nachman, who in a way represents the Bein Nesiah, Rashi also says that really he was a dayan of the Reish Galusa. Rav Nachman wasn't just a son-in-law, he was the official, like rabbi, of the dayan of the household of the Nesiah. Like the Rabbanut, I'm not sure exactly to compare to Rabbanut, but I'm saying like an official body. So you have to play the game and you have to walk the walk in order to show respect, not to undermine the authority of the Nasi. Okay, so now, also, chapter 2. If I would break it into chapters, it would be, chapter 2 in the sequel, in the long story. So now, the second chapter is, now Rav Yehuda was invited to Beis Din by the Mechutzaf. He was called to Beis Din by the Mechutzaf to go to the Beis Din of Rav Nachman. Also, he came to Rav Nachman. Please bear in mind, he did not yet come to Beis Din. He came to Rav Nachman to try and maybe figure out, as we're going to see, is Rav Nachman really serious about inviting him to Beis Din? In other words, he already felt degraded by Rav Nachman inviting him to Beis Din. He felt, I'm just making an introduction here, Rav Yehuda felt, why is Rav Nachman, who knows that his level is below me, why is he inviting me to Beis Din? It's not right. He shouldn't have done that, right? It should have been done in a different way. Either I should have been invited to a higher Beis Din or send people to my house. But this whole way this is done is really against Koved the Torah. It's not the Koved of the Torah of Rav Yehuda to go to someone lower than him like Rav Nachman. So now he's going to Rav Nachman to try and figure things out. Ashkechei, as Rav Yehuda came to the house of Rav Nachman, the scene of the second episode is the house of Rav Nachman. This is now happening in the private home of Rav Nachman. Ashkechei de Ka'ovid Maike. Rav Yehuda found Rav Nachman as Rav Nachman was building a ma'akeh, railing, banister, railing over the roof, Omar Lei, he told him. Now, Rav Yehuda was trying all the time to like shepherd Rav Nachman, to show Rav Nachman, like in all kinds of, hidden ways, that I'm really greater than you, so maybe you want to back off. You know what I'm saying? Omar Lei, Losova Lomar, don't you know of the halacha? Lehad Omar Avuna Bar Idi, Omar Shmuel, don't you know the following halacha, which was originally said by Shmuel, that says, Kevan shenismana odom parnas al tzibur. Once a person becomes like a parnas is all types of leader. Once a person is like a leader over the public, over the community, also ba'asiyas melacha b'fnei shloisha, he's not allowed to be involved in menial work, to start doing all kinds of handiwork in front of three people. Rashi says it's not mechubad. In other words, it's a gnai, it's demeaning for the generation that they have to be under the authority of a person who doesn't have minimal help, who doesn't have helpers around him. A person of of leadership position should have other people to do the menial jobs for him. And if you do it yourself, it's not mechubad. And here, I guess there is more than 3 people over there. At least 3 people are around. So why are you doing this? Omar Lei. So Rav Nachman responded and said, Huta de gundarisa hu de kavidna. He says, I'm not building a whole maike. I'm only building a little bit of the gundarisa. I'm not building the whole thing, a whole maise here with, with tools and with fire and brimstone. I'm not doing all real hard work. I'm only building a little bit of the fence of that banister of the railing, only a little bit. And he called it gundarisa. In other words, the way from now on they're going to have discussion regarding language. The language, the term he used for a ma'akeh, for the railing, is gundarisa. Gundarisa is like a fancy word. It's a very fancy word for ma'akeh. Omerle, Rav Yuda is responding to Rav Nachman. Mi sanya ma'akeh dichsiv boraisa. Why using, word search kind of words? Yeah, why are you using SAT words? Why using fancy words from the academy? Yeah, what misanya? Is it bad to use the simple word make that's written in the Torah, or mechitza the Omer Rabbanon, or mechitza that Rabbanon were saying? In other words, he's telling him you're not using Lashon Torah. Why are you Rav Nachman? You talk like some academic from Hebrew University. Why aren't you talking in Torah-dika terms? Either say make, like the Torah says, or mechitza that Rabbanon say. Then he ignored that, so it sounds like Rav Nachman did not respond. Now, Rav Nachman kept trying to host him, and Rav Yuda kept being very reserved. Omerle, Rav Nachman, the host, is telling him now, Yosif Mara Karpita, I'm inviting you to sit on a karpita. Ever heard the word karpita? I never did. Karpita is a safsal, a bench. Come sit on the bench. Omerle, umisani safsal domo rabonon, or itzta badamri inshi. Why using all these fancy words from university, from the academia? Where are you? From Harvard, from Yale? Yeah. Is it bad to just say the word safsal, which is used by Rabbanon, by the Talmudic Chachamim, or itztaba damri inchi? The regular people, the run-of-the-mill people in the street, the amcha, they use the word itztaba. In other words, the Marsha explains that basically his claim was there are three types of. It's true nowadays. Yeah, there are three types of terms. There are three types of dialects, I would say, so to speak, for each term. Either you can talk yeshivish, like the Torah, or you talk in a very simple language, or you talk in a very fancy word. Why choosing the fancy word? In other words, you invited me to Beis Din. He was hinting to him, by the way, you should know, Rav Nachman at this point didn't even know that this is the person invited to Beis Din. Only later, first, Rav Yudah wanted to prove himself. So basically saying, make up your mind. Either treat me like a simple man. I thought you called me to Beis Din, so you see me as some regular guy in the street, like some lowlife. Or what? If you see me like a Talmid Chacham, so why didn't you invite me? But you don't see me as either. You talk to me as if I was some Hebrew professor. What's going on here? Omerle, and then he continued, Rav Nachman, Lechulmar etronga. I'm giving you, I'm suggesting, I'm offering you to eat etronga. Esrog is called etronga. Etronga. Instead of esrog, etronga. Omerle, Hachi Omer Shmuel. Now he really got upset with him, and he said, this is what Shmuel said, Kol Omer etronga, tilta b'ramus rucha. Whoever says instead of using the normal word esrog or etrog, as we're going to see, if he says etronga, that's like a third of a gaiva. It's like a third of the entire gav you can get to. The Marsha says that etronga, you add the letter nun, it's from the nun, is from the tongue. No, you need the tongue. And it says loshon gdoilos. The loshon is the tongue represents gaiva. Oy esrog k'dekaryo rabbanon. Either you speak normal like a Talmid Chacham, esroig, like Rabbanon call it, or esroig go, damri inshi, or call it an esroig go, like people talk either in Hebrew, Lashon HaKodesh, like the Chachamim, or esroig go, like the regular people in Bavel. Why are you talking to me as if I was some academic person? You talk like a person from the academia. You're from the Beis Hanosi. I don't go for that. Omer le lishtimar anvaga. Yeah, I'm offering you now. Please drink some anvaga. Anvaga is some kind of mashke which used to drink every morning, the morning drink, and it's called asparagus, maybe asparagus, and he called it anvaga. Omerle, and again, he's asking the same question. Rav Yudah is responding, Misani asparagus, the Kriyo Rabbanon. What's wrong? What's the problem with give it the normal name? Yeah, call a spade a spade. Call it asparagus like Rabbanon. No, anpak damri inchi. Yeah, or call it anpak, like people talk. Okay, enough with the language. Basically, he came and he told him, the way you talk is not really relatable to me, says Rav Yuda to Rav Nachman, and you're inviting me to Beis Din. You don't talk like a Talmid Chacham, you don't talk like a normal person. Why are you inviting me to Beis Din? That was all hinted. Omerle, now Rav Nachman continued with his attempts to host Rav Yuda. Omerle, he told him, Teisi doinag tashkinan. He said, I want my daughter called Donag. You know, it's Donag. Donag is wax, the wax of the bees. So his daughter was called Wax. Maybe should suggest people to call the daughter Donag instead of Dona. Omar letesi doinag tashkinan. Yeah, doinag, my daughter. I want her to come and give us drinks, serve us drinks. Omar le. So again, Rav Yuda is unhappy. Rav Yuda says no. Achi Omar Shmuel. This is what Shmuel said. Ein mishtamshem beisha beisha. You're not allowed to have a woman serve you food and drinks for reasons of tznius. So this is really machloikes. Sfardim are more machmir than Ashkenazim. But for a woman to pour drinks for you or to wash your feet, even with tznius, I'm saying not touching you or anything, yeah? Even in a public place, no, nothing intimate. But a woman washes your feet without touching you or netilas yadayim, it's a machloikes. Some people are more machmir than others. And depends if you're doing it l'shem shamayim, if you're doing it really in a place that's private, it's more of a problem. There are discussions in this halacha. Ashkenazim are more mekel. Once Esther Moshe Sternbuch, he said you don't have to be machmir like by pouring cups. Let's say in a Shabbos table, a woman can pour a drink for you. It's not something super intimate. It's tam, you know, or waitress. So, but Sfardim are more machmir. In any event, but he told him, "Why are you calling your daughter here to serve us?" En mishtamshim beisha. You're not allowed to call a woman and serve you. It's not sanua. Says Rav Nachman, Ktanahi, no, my daughter Donag, says Rav Nachman, is underage. She's below bas mitzvah. There's no problem. Yeah. Says Rav Yuda, no. Shmuel says mefurash, en mishtamshim beisha klal ben gdoilo ben ktana. No, you're not allowed to, yeah, be served by a woman, even if she's young, to get her used to tznius. Yeah. From a young age, you have to get her used to not being to be around men and start serving and start doing things. Yeah. Continues the rough conversation. The awkward conversation goes on. Nishader le'mar shloma le yalta. Now Rav Nachman is telling the guest, Rav Yuda, maybe would you like to, Nishader shalma, would you like to basically send your regards to my wife, Yalta? Omer le, says Rav Yuda, no. Achi Omer Shmuel, again he's quoting Shmuel all the time. You have to understand also why is he quoting Shmuel. You know he's quoting Shmuel? Shmuel was above Rav Nachman. And Shmuel was with Rav Nachman's group. Yeah, they were together. Rav Nachman was the Talmud of Shmuel. They basically quoted Rav Nachman's Rebbe against him. So Achi Omer Shmuel, this is what Shmuel said. Kol be'isha erva. That's a famous line. We all know. Kol be'isha erva. So listen to this. We know kol be'isha erva means singing. You're not allowed to hear a woman singing, right? But kol be'isha erva, according to some, is even by voice, by speaking. So he says, if Yalta is over here in the other room, and you would say, "Hi, Yalta," even if she doesn't come in, and she'll answer, yeah, she will respond and say, "Hi, Rav Yehuda." Oh, if I hear a voice, that's already lo tzanua. Hearing her talking, that's already called be'isha erva. So now continues Rav Nachman, and he said, continues Rav Nachman saying, "Efshal lidei shaliach." Oh, maybe send the regards through a shliach. In other words, not that you say, hello, hello, hello. No, so take a messenger. She'll be 3 rooms away. She'll be in a different place. Send her through a shliach, the regards. And then she'll send you back through a shliach. You're not going to hear a voice. Omar lehachi Omar Shmuel. Yeah, Rav Yehuda is a tough customer. Achi Omar Shmuel. En sharlin b'shlom isha alidei baila. You're not allowed to, yeah, send regards to a woman through her husband. Yeah, okay. I didn't show in bishloim isha. No, excuse me, I read it wrong. Excuse me, mistake. And shalim bishloim isha, comma. Yeah, you're not supposed to say send your regards to a woman. Okay, why? Because let's say you meet someone down the street and you say, send regards to Shandy, and then Shandy will send regards to you. You'll become good friends, even if you don't talk to each other directly. But you send these mutual regards, so cute, so nice, you'll become over friendly, and you don't want that. She's not your wife, right? Now, Says Tosfos. Look at Tosfos. En sholim b'shlom isha klal. We're learning Tosfos now. En sholim b'shlom isha klal. Frek Tosfos. V'had omar b'socher sapoyalim. We learned that, my friends, in Vav Metzia. It says, Ayesoro ishtecha. The malachim. Okay, they were malachim, but they're supposed to behave like angels. They're supposed to behave well. And they asked Avraham Avinu, as we know, where is Sarah, your wife? Why do they bechlal? Yeah, why do they ask about her? And not only that, we learn from the malachim behavior. The Gemara says, Sheshayalin bishlama yishalidei baila. The Gemara encourages that. The Gemara says it's not just a malachim. Yes, you're supposed to ask, yeah, about the woman or for her shalom through her husband. What's going on here? And so Tosfos hainu dafka b'shilas shalom. As we're going to see soon in the Gemara, even through the husband, you can't give regards. Explain to us. There's a difference between asking how is your wife and sending regards to your wife. It's different, which means if you meet a person in the street and you know his wife is unwell or time, how's his wife doing? It's absolutely fine to ask, how's your wife? You should mention her name, maybe. How's your wife doing? That's accepted and it's right and it's good manners. How's the wife? Maybe she's not well. She needs refuah. Maybe she needs help. Right? So how's your wife? But to send regards, that's awesome. To send regards, send my regards to your wife, that's more direct. I'm not asking as an objective, onlooker, how is she? I want to communicate with your wife through sending regards. Send my regards to so-and-so. That's forbidden. Now, Frag the Gemara. Now, Rav Nachman didn't know that yet. And therefore now, back to the Gemara. So now Rav Nachman was suggesting Alidei Baila. Rav Nachman was saying, listen, maybe if you send regards to Yalta through her husband, i.e. myself, that's not a problem with tznius, because the husband is in between, right? If I want to, chas v'sholem, if somebody wants to start, kind of, the wrong kind of relationship with a married woman, he wouldn't have her husband involved, right? True. So if Rav Nachman, I'm the husband, I'm the guard over here, and if you send regards through me, maybe that's okay, right? I'll be the shliach to send regards from you, Rav Yehuda. Omar lei, no, Hachi Omar Shmuel, ein sholim b'shlom isha klal. No, you're not supposed to ask, meaning to send regards to a woman, not even through her husband. And the question is why? If it's only through a husband, if he's in the middle of the relationship, what's the problem? Look at Rashi, the third line in the page. En sholim b'shlamisha klal at all. Shemargi liba v'daita etzloi. Oh, you get her heart and her mind used to you kind of get it into your heart and to your mind and vice versa. In other words, when you send regards, even if it's through the husband, you think about her too much. That Ashes shouldn't be in your radar. You shouldn't send regards even through the husband. It makes the whole situation a bit lotzanua, even if the husband is in the middle, and therefore your heart and your mind shouldn't be on that woman. Therefore, don't send regards bichlal, not even through the husband. Now, here comes chapter 3. Chapter 3, the third chapter. Yalta gets involved. Ooh, Yalta. Yalta was a very strong-minded woman. Once she felt she was deprived from doing a mitzvah, so she broke 400 barrels. And Yalta was she was also very she was a very finicky person, very finicky. She was very spoiled. And when she gave birth, they gave her special treatment. That's in Shabbos. And Yalta also had opinions in halacha. Like she told Rav Nachman once in a chulin, it is, Yalta said to him, everything that's treif has a kosher version, right? And she gave a whole list of it. Eshes ish, you have grusha when the husband is alive. You have the thrill of eshes ish. There's some kind of chazir. Yeah, the taste of chazir, you can taste it by some kind of kosher fish called shibuta. Everything treif has a kosher version. And she said, I want to have basa b'cholov. I want cheeseburger. What's the equivalent? And they told her chal. Chal is the udder of the animal. That if it has a little bit of milk in it, still from the udder, from the milk, that's like basa b'cholov. But that starts also of chal, which is very hard. Anyway, so now Yalta was, I guess, eavesdropping. Yalta was overhearing the conversation. Shalchalei Dvisu, his wife sent a messenger to tell Rav Nachman, her husband, Shari le Tigrei, please let him go. Yeah, in other words, get rid of that man. Just let him go. Get it, basically let him off the hook, says the wife to the husband. Why? Because we make you look like an Amoritz. In other words, I can see that that guy knows his stuff better than you. So please let him go, because otherwise you will just, come out with egg on your face. Omerle, now comes Rav Yehuda. I don't know how that happened. I still have to see the Meforshim. I haven't seen the Meforshim on this page yet. Rav Nachman is now asking Rav Yehuda, the guest, Omerle, my shiate demar hocho. Yeah. In other words, why did you come? Why did you come here? Why did you come now? Yeah. Why did you come? What's a shiata? Like lashut. Why did you sail here? Which means, why did you bichlal come here? Omerle. So now Rav Yehuda, the guest, is responding, and he says, Taska de azmanusa shodar mar abasroi. Taska de azmanusa. He's using a fancy language for summoning to Beis Din. Mar, you sent me that summoning letter, that invitation after me. Okay. Omar Lei, now Rav Nachman, the dayan, is responding, and he says, Hashta shuta de mar lo gamirna, taska da zmanusa meshadarna le mar. In other words, I don't even understand your language, and you think that I can invite you for the din, right? Is that so? So now the rest of the story we're going to see tomorrow. I do apologize that I did not prepare later, so I don't want to continue without knowing. So we'll stay with a cliffhanger, and basically in the middle of a conversation, and now they're realizing, Rav Nachman is now realizing that the person in front of him, someone invited to Beis Din, or summoned to Beis Din, and the rest we'll see Meretz Hashem tomorrow. We'll stop the recording now. Hold on, stay with me, please. Thank you very much. Atzlocho bracha to everybody on Torah Anytime, YouTube, and anywhere else. Those in Zoom and here should please stay for a few more minutes. Thank you.